Shalom, welcome back to another video on Sun God Productions. Now, before I begin with the video, I just want to say that I'm sorry there will be no intro song today because every time I make an intro song, my video gets copyright striked, and I'm just like, dude, why? Anyway, so with that out of the way, let me talk about Cambyses, the second Shah of Iran. So, in the year 530, Cyrus the Great would die, and, well, he would be succeeded by his son Cambyses II. And so, in case you didn't know, Cyrus the Great's dad was named Cambyses, so that's why. But anyway, so Cambyses would be like, you know what? I'm the strongest king out there, okay? And there was actually one other strong nation. It was Egypt. But, you know, Cambyses, he at the time wasn't really looking to conquer it, just quite yet. But war would soon come his way as Cambyses would be having eye issues, and so he would ask an Egyptian physician to help him out with it. And so the Egyptian physician was like, alright, bet. But unfortunately, the pharaoh was like, nah, I don't like that. You can go, but under one condition. Your family stays here. And so obviously the physician was like, dude, I don't like this. I don't like my family being used against me. So he was just like, yo, Shah, could you help me out here? And so the Shah was like, alright, sure. What's your plan? And so the physician was like, you know, how about you go and make love with the pharaoh's daughter and marry her, and to, you know, so that you can strengthen your kingdom's ties and all that stuff. And the Shah was like, alright, cool, nice idea. And so that's what would happen. Anyway, so the pharaoh, almost the second, was just a big fat meanie pants, okay? You know why? Because he killed his predecessor, which is not very nice, okay? Not very nice at all. So, anyways, because, you know, this guy was not very, well behaved, should we say, well, he decided to pull a prank on the Shah, okay? He would, instead of sending his own daughter, would send the previous pharaoh's daughter, which he had killed. Anyway, so he would send the princess over to the Shah, and the princess was like, you know, I don't really like the pharaoh because he kind of killed my dad, and like, that's kind of mean. And so she just snitched on the pharaoh, and Cambyses was like, you know what? I know that I don't like snitches, but, you know, this pharaoh guy needs his ass whooped. And so that's what he planned on doing. But before I talk about that, let me talk about this important Greek dude, okay? Thanos. No, not the purple Thanos, the Greek Thanos. So, Mr. Greek Thanos, he originally worked for the pharaoh, but for unknown reasons, the two had a falling out, and they decided, you know what? I'm going to chase you out of Egypt. And so that's what the pharaoh did. So he tried to chase him out of Egypt, but Thanos, being a smart guy, which, as most people named Thanos are, purple Thanos, with the weird chin, he was kind of smart, okay? Wiping out half the population of the universe, you have to be a pretty big genius to do that. But anyway, so this guy, Thanos, would be like, hey yo, Shah, I have an idea for you. And the Shah of Persia, Cambyses, was like, okay, let me hear it out. And so he said that, you know, I suggest that you ally yourself with an Arabian king because, you know, this Arabian king really, really does not like the pharaoh. And so he might just maybe help you out with your invasion because, you know, what's in between Iran and Egypt? Well, Arabia, obviously. And so the Shah was like, you know what? That's a great idea. So the Shah would be like, hey yo, Arabian guy, you want to help me out here? And so the Arabian king, because there was actually many Arabian tribes, because they didn't really truly unite until Muhammad, but we're going to talk about that later. But anyway, so he was like, hey yo, Arabian guy, you want to help me out here? Because I heard that you don't really like the pharaoh, and you know, this pharaoh guy kind of pulled a prank on me, and I don't really like pranks, so let's team up and whoop this guy, alright? And the Arabian guy was like, alright, here's the plan, right? You go and fight, and I supply you with water and food. And so Cambyses was like, You know, that kind of sounds like the job of a water boy. Are you trying to be a water boy? And the Arabian guy's like, one day you're going to regret that because, well, in a couple thousand years, we're going to conquer you, so watch out for that. And so, with the help of his water boy Arabian friends, he would march his army towards Gaza, where they would fight the first battle of this war. And so, Cambyses would leave a small contingent of his force at Gaza. Meanwhile, he would take the main army and march towards Memphis, the capital of Egypt. So, during this time, he would pull a really mean move, okay? Just a really big Richard move, if you know what I mean. Dick Sporting Goods. So, anyway, he would actually employ sacred animals that the Egyptians revered, such as cats, in his army to scare the local population. And they were terrified, okay? And this may have been a meanie pants move, but one thing that was even more meanie pants was their pharaoh. Speaking of which, what happened to the pharaoh? Oh shoot. Wait. What happened to the pharaoh? He died. Yeah, so apparently he died before this whole war came along, and he actually was like, you know what, son? I'm gonna kick the bucket, so I'm gonna let your inexperienced young mind protect Egypt. So yeah, bye. And so Sontic the Third would become the new pharaoh of Egypt, and basically the last ancient Egyptian leader of Egypt, unless you count the Greek Egyptian rulers as ancient Egypt. But I don't really count the Greek era of Egypt as ancient Egypt. I count that as a separate thing. But anyway, so he was terrified of the Persians, as he should have been, because my man was like, I'm going to punish the guy who told Cambyses to ally with the Arabians. And so he found Thanos. No, not purple Thanos. Greek Thanos. So he told Greek Thanos, Ayo, I'm going to punish you. And so he rounded up all Greek Thanos' sons, because let's be honest, daughters don't really matter in history. I mean, like, if I have a daughter, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go all Roman on them and just leave her in the streets to die, because that was the thing that Romans did, The father could just choose whether he'd let their child live or die, and it wasn't really up to the mom to decide. So that's probably what I'm going to do with my daughter. That's a joke. That's a joke, U.S. government. Okay, FBI, that's a joke. Anyway, yeah, so he just drained all of these guys' bloods and drink it before the upcoming battle. And so, yeah. Anyway, so also Purple Thanos didn't have any sons as far as I'm aware. Did he? I don't know. I need to watch Marvel. Anyways. Meanwhile, what was going on with Cambyses? Well, let's just say his army had a 7-1 KD, okay? Just an absolute wall hacks, he had everything, okay? He just turned on all the hats and the Pharaoh was just like, Jesus Christ, this guy is crazy. How the hell do you have a 7-1 KD? And so obviously Cambyses is like, alright, this guy's probably demoralized. I mean, we kind of just destroyed him in the last battle. I'm going to send an envoy for surrender because I really don't want to kill any more people. And you know what the Pharaoh thought? He was just like, dude, I'm not surrendering. I'm going to kill your envoys. And so that's what the Pharaoh did. And Cambyses did not really like his envoys being killed like that for no apparent reason. So he just got back up and marched to Memphis. And the resulting battle would be even worse with a 10-1 KD. God damn, if I played like that in Call of Duty, I'd be a freaking esport player. God damn. Anyway, so yeah, my man had a 10-1 KD. And obviously the Pharaoh was just like, dude, I'm booking it. I'm running. I'm running for the desert. But unfortunately for him, he would be captured, and the Pharaoh would later commit suicide. And even worse, well, with an heavy art, I'm just going to say, it's the end of ancient Egypt, okay? Ancient Egypt, just out of there, okay? Persians ended you guys, okay? No more pharaohs. Well, technically the Greeks were pharaohs. If you count the Greek rule of Egypt as ancient Egypt, then I guess it continues, but I'm going to be honest, I don't really count Greek ancient Egypt as ancient Egypt. But anyway, so, yeah, ancient Egypt is gone. And you know what's even worse? Cambyses would not be able to conquer any further lands. No, not because his empire was overstretched. He would die. Yes, only 7 years into his reign, he would die. And he would be later succeeded by a little man known as Darius the Great. And yeah, I'm going to talk about my man Darius the Great in the next video because this guy was not actually a little man. But, alright, seriously, this guy was a badass, okay? And yeah, you better subscribe. If you don't, you're going to the gulag, and yeah, you better sub.